The credit system isn't designed for you to win. It's designed for you to keep paying interest. Most of the information you hear out there on improving your credit is exactly what the banks want you to hear. But today, I'm going to show you how to play by a different set of rules. I use these 5 steps to crack the code, jump my credit score, and take back control from the lenders. And this is the blueprint they won't tell you about. And stay tuned for step 4. It's where many people accidentally hurt their score, but it also could allow you to increase your score the quickest. So for those that are new, welcome to the channel. I'm Dexter. And on this channel, we cover strategies, tactics, and tools to help you get better at managing your money and achieve your financial goals quicker. So let's dig into it. Credit impacts a lot more than what people think. That mortgage, trying to get approved for that first-time house that you're looking at, or your second home, it also determines the interest rate, which determines that payment of that mortgage. Similarly, for your auto loan, it determines the interest rate and payment. But credit also looks at, if you think from an insurance standpoint, the insurance premium you pay, and also from a job standpoint. And if you're looking at getting an apartment, they also review your credit from an apartment standpoint as well. So instead of talking about some basic tips today, we're going to go through a step-by-step framework that you can actually follow and use to kind of improve your credit. Starting with step 1, we're going to conduct a credit audit because we've got to know where we stand if we're trying to improve, right? So that's the first step. So what we need to do here is pull our credit from the 3 credit bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. We can go online to get this done with one site. That's annualcreditreport.com. And you're allowed to do this for free as well. Now, if you want your credit score, for free, go to Experian.com. I know there are some banks out there that will pull your credit for you and that sort of thing. Some of them are charged, some of them won't. But you can go to Experian and get that score for yourself for free. And you can also see where you stack up, right? There are 5 different areas. You can see where you stack, where that score is versus where you're trying to get to, right? As we audit the credit reports, there are a couple things we're looking for. We're looking at our personal information to see if it's accurate. So our last name, middle name, that type of thing, addresses, employment history. I know for me, at one point, my employment history was incorrect. I was a doctor, according to that credit report, an anesthesiologist. Had to get that corrected, but that was a shocker there. But I've seen all types of things online. Names incorrect, address incorrect, you name it. So just be diligent there and put a star by anything or a highlighter. Take the highlighter out, go line by outline to make sure that you're identifying. Now, once we identify any nonconformities there, step 2, we're going to implement a targeted corrective approach, right? So we're going after these corrections because different ones require different things. So for instance, if it's personal information, employment information, we typically can provide the backup data to support getting that correct. So we'll then just draft a letter, attach whatever we have there and send that information in. Now, key call out here, we just don't want to rely on calling it in and talking to them over the phone, saying, hey, this is wrong. No, we're going to mail it in. We're going to mail the information in. And in the show notes down here in the description, I've got a kit down here that's got that information in there, but it's also got the templates in there around some dispute letters. So if you look down for the dispute letter template, that's also got the mailing address. You also can find that online as well at their respective sites. So we're just looking to see what type of errors, and we're going to dispute that information as quickly as possible because that information could be dragging our score down and keeping it down. So just be mindful there and just act accordingly. The third step is cracking the FICO code. And this is where if you master these 5 factors, you can really over time increase your score to that 800 range, right? Because this here is reviewing, it's really what a lot of people don't understand and the different things that impact your credit score. With the first factor impacting your score, FICO score by 35%, and that's on-time payment. Now, it's easier said than done. You say on-time payment, but yeah, sometimes we get caught up and we may miss a payment here or there. But in doing so, if you have a 30-day late, 60-day late, oh my goodness, don't have a 90-day late, they have a negative impact on your credit score. Each one lowers your score in that scenario, right? So there are some things we want you to do. You can set up auto pay. Now, if you don't feel comfortable setting auto pay, we want to look at your calendar and set alerts on your phone. Hey, light bill due this date, the 12th. Mortgage due on the 5th. Car payment due on the 13th. That sort of thing, right? Or just mark it on the calendar. Anything to help us remember these dates, because the last thing we want to do is like, hey, I got the money, could have paid it, but just forgot about it, right? Don't want to have that 35% negative impact. The next area that's got the most impact is of 30%, and that's the amount that we owe, right? It's credit utilization. So how much of your credit are you using? Typically, lenders are looking at you to use 30% or less. So in this scenario, if you got a $10,000 credit card and you got it maxed, well, if you got $9,000 charged, in their eyes, that's pretty much max. You're utilizing 90% because you're one, call it hiccup away from being an issue, right? That type of thing. Whereas versus if it was 3,000, then they know you've got some room there. So ideally, those that's got, call it excellent credit, they're in the 10% range. So think of it that way. The next area, length of credit, it's got a 15% impact to your FICO credit score because lenders are essentially looking at reliability over time. So for instance, if you've got a credit card that's only been open for a couple months, they look at you as, hey, you're kind of like a wild card. They don't know yet, right? Versus someone that's got 10-year history with their cards. They're like, oh my goodness, this is proven history, no issue there. So they'll get the benefit of a doubt of getting the maximum rate of that 15% there versus you won't get the maximum if you've only got a card open for 2 months. You got to build that up some, right? Because some of the things they're looking at from an age standpoint, and what's the oldest age of your account? They're looking at that newest. Now that newest account, it tells them how credit hungry you are, right? And then they're also looking at their average age. A couple of other things they're looking at around activity and engagement. Let's say, for instance, if you've got that older account and you're like, hey, I've had this paid off for 10 years, right? But if you're not engaging with it, sometimes issuers may think it's a dormant account and may prematurely close it, which then takes that good age history away from you. Oh my goodness. And then it also impacts your utilization. So that's a twofer from a negative standpoint. So the thing you would do there is just charge something small once a quarter on it and pay it off just to make sure that it's, continue to get reported. That way you can continue to keep the benefits of having that paid off, right? And not letting it inadvertently get closed by an issuer and negatively impacting your score. The fourth area is around credit mix. This is 10% of your FICO score. And we've got two main areas here that creditors are looking at, and that is revolving credit and installment loans. For revolving credits, they're looking at, this is where you have a credit limit, you use it, pay it off, and you use it again, some portion or all of it. And this is credit cards, this is retail cards, or home equity line of credits. Versus installment loans, this is where you have a fixed amount, a set monthly payment, and you've got an end date, right? Think your home mortgage loan, think about your auto loan, think about that student loan or personal loans. And the reason why they're looking, because credit cards, they're looking to see how you can manage fluctuating monthly debt. Can you stay disciplined with that? And similarly with installments, they're looking to see, can you stay with a rigid payment schedule, right? And that's how they're looking at that 10% there. Now, as we think through the final area there, that fifth area is around recent activity, or what we call new credit. Typically, this here is a leading indicator to lenders because they think this is one of the first areas you go to if you're in financial distress. So let's say, for instance, they're looking at 12 months to see what type of hard pulls you have on your credit, right? So if you open up 4 credit cards in 2 months, that's letting them know, hey, something's changed here. They're looking for a plastic lifeline, so you won't get, you probably get hit negatively from that standpoint, right? Now, versus rate shopping, if you're looking for a home mortgage or auto loan, that's a little different. We want to make sure we're rate shopping within a small time window. We're not trying to extend all these pulls throughout the year because then it would have a significant negative impact. You want to look at a 15 or 30-day window where you're going to do your rate shopping for your mortgage or for your auto loan. because in those scenarios where you're within that window, those creditors will then look at it and say, hey, that we'll treat that as one single inquiry, right? The bureaus will treat that as one single inquiry and won't really tank your credit score. So just be mindful of that, because that will require just doing a little bit of advanced planning. And the other key thing to remember here is that buy now, pay later services like Affirm and Klarna are also reporting, and the lenders look at this too. So if you're constantly using those, they're thinking, hey, could be some financial issues here. So just be mindful there and don't use it more than you really need to there. Step 4 is around optimizing credit utilization. Now, this has got the fastest lever to improve and jumpstart and increase your credit score, right? From a utilization standpoint. We talked about the 30% earlier, but one credit hack that you can do right now is call your credit card and ask for a credit limit increase, right? By getting that increase and keeping everything the same, don't charge it up. Now that's impacting your utilization, which then increases your credit score, right? So think about that as you pay down the credit as well. We want to make sure that's under 30%, but we want to see if we can increase that balance to get an infusion there of a quicker increase of that credit score, right? The other thing they're looking at is total versus individual utilization. So they're looking at all of your credit, and they're also looking at individuals. So let's say, for instance, you've got 3 credit cards where you've got 0, and you've got one that you're at 80%. That 80% is going to negatively impact your credit, right? Even though the utilization is spread, because they're looking at that as localized financial stress, right? So let's just be mindful of how we're going after. And the other one is around snapshot. This here is where if we are paying off every month, let's say we're using a credit card and we're saying, hey, I want the points and that type of thing. I'm paying off at the end of the month. Should my utilization be 0? It's yes and no. It depends on the date that you pay it off. The statement closing date is the date, the balance at that date. That's what get reported to the creditors. So if you paid it off by that date, then yes, that's 0. But most people haven't, right? Because they don't know what that date is. Now you know how critical it is to look at that date. So credit hack here, don't pay it that day or the day before. You want to have it paid 5 days in advance of that closing date, 5 days. That gives it a chance to pay, weekend, think about holidays happen. We don't want anything to hook up, that 0, utilization. So pay that off 5 days in advance and of that statement closing date. Get in the habit of doing that, and then you'll be fine. The 5th area that we're looking at is really protecting our gains, right? So we're creating a credit fortress here. We're going to let the good stuff work. And there are 2 rules that we have here in this area, and that is, don't close a good account. So if that good account is positive, it's helping your age, and it's also helping your utilization, we want to keep that account open, right? We want to keep that, whatever we need to do. If we need to make a small payment there, make that small payment, small charge, and then just pay that off immediately as quick as possible. Because from a maturity standpoint, a mature account is looked upon as one with 7 years or longer. With 5 years, you're still in good standings, right? And the other area we talked about is never missing a payment. Even if you have to make the minimum, let's say that payment is $250 a month, hey, I don't have $250. Call them and say, hey, I'm giving you $25 or $50 this month. Bam. That way you're not missing the payment, right? So we're looking at some consistency is really what's needed in order to make sure that you're getting the scores and maintaining those good scores once you get them. Now, if you're ready to start winning, I put together a 30-day action plan. It's a PDF checklist. It's for free, down in the description. Get it, and you can just start working through it. And don't forget, I've also got written dispute letters down there as a PDF format that you can grab also. That's free. So these are just some free tools I'm providing to help you jumpstart and get you to getting that higher credit score sooner. So if you found this information helpful, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone that you know can use to improve their credit. Until the next video.